Powerhouse, presented by Alliant Energy.
Alliant Energy, we're on for you.
Welcome back to Powerhouse. Now, if you live in an older home, chances are that you could use some more attic insulation. Adding attic insulation is the best energy efficiency investment you can make. However, doing that to an older home can sometimes be tricky, and that's why we've invited Brian Clark, an insulation contractor, to answer some of our questions today. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Megan.
Let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
How does a homeowner begin to find out how much insulation they have and if they need to add more, and how do they do it?
Well, most older homes in the Midwest do lack adequate insulation in the attic, and they typically do need to add more. And where you start is, it's just that simple with the tape measure and an opening.
Okay.
And in this attic, we got lucky. There's one here.
Handy.
Yeah, that time is provided, and we simply measure down, making sure we're getting clear to the ceiling of the floor below.
Okay.
So we know just how big the cavity is, and measure.
Looks like 8 inches.
About
cavity.
about 8-inch cavity that we would need to fill.
And what's in there now?
Well, actually, very old, deteriorated insulation that has pretty much lost all its effectiveness, and there's
seen its
very
day.
little of it in there.
Yeah, I see that. Now, what if a homeowner reaches in and finds something like vermiculite or a non-traditional sort of insulation? Is that something that needs to be removed before you can take action, or can you just insulate on top of that?
You can insulate on top of that as long as you don't disturb it and just kind of leave it alone. Some vermiculite does have asbestos in it, some of it does not. That would have to be something that would be determined by the state labs, and that process can be quite costly to the homeowner. The school of thought right now is just pretty much don't disturb it, encapsulate it, and it'll be fine.
What sort of R value are we looking for an older home, and what's traditionally there?
Well, traditionally in these older homes, we're finding anywhere from about 3 to 9 inches, which is roughly an R11 to an R19. In the Midwest, in this region, we're looking to have a minimum of an R38, which is 11 to 14 inches. So you can see most of the older homes need to double, if not triple, the insulation that they have.
Boy, I would say. Okay, let's take this example with the floorboards. How would you correct this situation, and how would you add insulation?
Well, we could do it a couple different ways. We could remove the floorboard, the length of the attic, and simply blow in either rock wool or fiberglass. In this instance, I would probably recommend some blown in fiberglass, which I have a little bit of it here.
Which is the fiberglass?
The white is the fiberglass. It's light and fluffy. Now, this has not gone through the blower yet. After it goes through the blower, it would be light and fluffy. Actually look like a light, fluffy powdered snowfall, to be honest with you. This product is the rock wool. It's a synthetic product, but in this case, I would use the blown-in fiberglass.
Okay, and then if you can't lift the boards, can you drill just like I've seen done on sidewall
Sure,
insulation?
you can. You certainly can. We would use the same drill. It would be about a 2 1/4 inch diameter hole, and we would simply drill above each cavity. We would split the attic into about thirds, which gives easier to work with the hose and the directional blower. We'd simply blow it, fill the cavity, and insert one of the wooden plugs right back over the top of the hole.
So it'd be flush?
It would be flush. If they're going to finish the attic off at a later date for usable space, you put carpet over it, put vinyl over it, and anything else, and
Who'd know
it'd be
the
fine.
difference?
No one would know the
Now,
difference.
that brings us to a good point. Let's say that in this particular situation, a homeowner wanted to finish the attic.
Sure. If you're going to finish the attic, of course, we'd want to do something with this empty cavity up here. We would simply put a mesh netting across on the bottom of each rafter space and blow in the fiberglass that we looked at earlier and effectively insulate the attic in that fashion and make it a really nice play space for the kids, den, library, whatever you want to use.
Sure,
It'd be great.
however you want to use it.
You bet.
Good. Are there any other key areas that we need to be aware of in an older home?
I would say the one key area you really want to make sure that there's insulation will be the box sills in the basement, where the floor joists meet the exterior wall. There's often an open cavity there, and by simply cutting a fiberglass bad insulation and putting it into that cavity will stop a lot of cold air, a lot of drafts from coming into the outside, as well as attic ventilation.
There are a lot of things to think about with an older home.
A lot of things to think about.
Now, keeping that in mind, is this something that a do-it-yourselfer could do?
It depends on the individual, depends on their comfort level and stuff like that. I'm sure that some people could do it and
Okay.
could do it very effectively.
How tough is it with this equipment if we wanted to blow in insulation?
Well, that would be the one thing that I would really recommend having a contractor do, just because of the extra equipment involved, getting the floorboards up, make sure they're getting back down in and drilling, plus just with the blowing equipment itself would be something you would probably want to have a contractor do.
Okay, and I know that this is an investment, so you are going to see a return on your investment.
True.
But can you give us a ballpark price or what people can expect to pay to insulate their attic?
Well, again, just like insulating anything, it's all based on square footage, the type of material that you're using, and how much we need to add. But on this particular attic, we're looking at probably about $500, somewhere between $500 and $550.
Considering the investment cost too, I think homeowners need to remember that oftentimes there are rebates available for this.
True. Most of your energy companies in the area are offering rebates. Simply check with your energy company and your power companies and see what they have to offer. There are a lot of them out there that make it very, very cost efficient for the homeowners.
Good. Now's the time of year to do it.
Yes, it is.
Thanks so much, Brian. And you stay with us. We've got a lot more Powerhouse coming up.